You're listening to Kids Ministry Answers from Stuff You Can Use, from Stuff You Can Use, from StuffYouCanUse.org.
Welcome to Kids Ministry Answers. My name is Jason.
And my name is Linda, and this is a podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers.
All right. Well, Linda, we are going to be talking about... Hi, how are you?
What, just skip right over the formalities, huh? We know each other too well now.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you again. So we're going to be talking, actually, it connects to that. We're going to be talking about connection today and connecting with people. And I was interested to know, Linda, like, what is your preferred method of connecting with others? Is it like a big group or a small group or over a game or over a coffee or something like that? Like, how do you like to connect with others?
Yeah, this is a hard question as an introvert to answer because
we both are, I think. We're both
that's
introverts.
True. That's right, we are. Because our preferred way of connecting is as little connecting as possible.
Yeah.
It's
the no connection
increments.
connecting.
But for real, I think for me, I like connecting with people while doing something.
Mhm.
Like, I get very nervous when there's no agenda, like not as in like an ulterior motive, but like there's no plan. It's like, yeah, let's hang out. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I don't know what kind of energy I need to bring to that. So I like when we're like, let's play, like, let's have a board game night. Let's watch a movie. Let's go get coffee. Like, whatever it is, I like having something to do because it lessens that anxiety a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've learned that kind of, like, not that I have any problems with other sized groups, but I think my favorite group size is a group of 3.
I love how specific this is. These are what introverts, this is what we do.
We think about these things.
We need these things to be perfect.
Oh, 4, that's too many people.
If we're going to connect, if we have to do it, it needs
all the
to be
conditions
these
have to be right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like the group of 3 because it's small enough where I feel like I can connect with people and really talk with people in a more personal way and not like, oh, you're another face in a really big crowd.
Yeah.
But then 3 gives me the opportunity to kind of like check out of a conversation from time to time so that I can reset and regroup and recharge in real time. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, you 2 talk for a second. I'm going to just like step back for a little bit. And it kind of keeps that energy flowing, I think. Because sometimes in a group of 2, like, not that I hate it, right? Because I have lots of close friends we meet just one-on-one. But sometimes if you're the lull, then you feel awkward the entire time. Like, I need to fill this silence. So there's a little bit of kind of social calculus I'm doing. Yeah. What about you?
So for me, I concur with a lot of the stuff that you said.
We're the same.
Which, shout out to our extroverts who are listening.
Serious. I don't know how you do it. I admire you so much.
They're just like, I could connect anyway. I don't know.
Yes.
But for me, it is smaller groups too. I would say I prefer like the one-on-one thing. And I think that's because, and preferably like over coffees or meals.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially a meal like gives you the time to like really talk. And a meal there's something cool about it, like sharing a meal with someone.
Yeah, but if you know them already, right? Not as like a first time meet. Right?
Yeah. Okay. A meal is weird if you don't know someone already. So
I have to tell you a story. I have a friend who was telling me about a really bad date he went on. And he was like, and I had to sit through that like entire dinner and it was so expensive. And I was like, why would you choose a meal as your first date? That's wild.
Yeah.
You need an exit strategy.
So maybe a coffee is the best for that, for if it's a new person.
Absolutely.
But I don't like small talk. Like, I think that's the biggest thing for me is like small talk is like not connecting to me at all. It's just like generic and like asking about the weather and stuff. Like, what are we doing? Like, I like to get deep with people. And so I think when you sit down with one person, it kind of lends itself to that kind of interaction.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because if someone said like, how about them sports teams? Like, that wouldn't be small talk for you.
That is
you'd
true.
Be like full send.
That's very deep right off the bat. That's interesting. That's a good point. Well, I think however we might prefer to do it, I think we can all agree that connection is really important, right? Like it's important to connect with people, especially in a ministry setting. And with that in mind, we're going to hear our question for today.
Hey, Pastor Elton here, and I am excited to start doing what we call a quarterly connection with our kidmen. And so for the fall, we just want it to be a connect time. In the winter, we want it to be a vision time. In the spring, we want it to be training. And then in the summer, we want it to be a celebration/appreciation. And so to kick things off this fall, I would love some ideas on how we could just get together to connect. Different ways that we can get people out of their comfort zone and into a setting where we get to do ministry together, life together as a team. Anything to grow us together. So I thank you so much for this and appreciate you all.
Wow. Thank you for this question. That was really specific. And I love the idea of a quarterly connection. That's really neat.
Me too. Yeah, I love everything about this question, except for the fact, and if you're listening, you couldn't see this, but Elton was wearing a Lions hat. So just interchange that with a Chiefs hat.
And then we can be besties.
And we can be best friends. But I think this is really important because as we know, like, if you don't connect, that's going to make everything in your ministry really hard to do. Like, if you don't have the connection first, then everything gets substantially harder, you know?
Right, because you're trying to constantly build connection for your ministry.
Right.
Like that's what's fueling your ministry and it's keeping it together. But it is hard to try to build it from scratch and how to get it started when you don't already have that foundation. So it's really good to have these regular touch points and find ways to really bring those moments of connection without it feeling forced or awkward, or, like think about the introverts in your group and think how can we really reach all the people in your ministry that you want to show them that they are a vital part of that ministry. So this is such an important question.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be playing like catch up with your connection. Like every event you have is connection, like you're connecting. But if you don't have these intentional events where the whole purpose of it is to connect, then those other ones are like, oh yeah, we got to connect also. Or like, oh man, we got to
like a reset every time. It's like, what do you do again? What do you do again?
Sure, yeah. So it is really important, as Elton asked, to have some specific events that we can set aside in our planning calendar that are just for connection. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to have 6 points that are about an event that you might plan for connection and kind of what that might look like, how you can do it. We're going to give you 6 ideas of how to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited. So Jason, kick us off. Where would you start?
Okay, so just like any party that you might have, you got to set the vibe, right? Like the vibe has to be right. These are things that when people walk in the door, they're getting hit with right off the bat, and you want those things to be great. So the first thing is the music, making a good playlist. Like you got to have the right jams playing. The music is the soul of any party. I think there's a saying that says that. Good playlist, the soul of the party, right? So good playlist to me begin with paying attention. So I think too easily we can fall into this trap of wanting our playlist. And Linda, you might have done this before, or maybe you've seen people do this before, where you craft a playlist to show how cool you are, or like how hip
is this a dig at me, Jason? Do you not like my music? Is this what you're trying to say?
I said, I bet you've never done this, but you've probably witnessed people do this, where they use their playlist to be like, see, I know all the tunes that are like happening right now. Like, don't just craft a playlist to do that. You want to make sure that you're listening and asking when it comes to making a playlist. Like, what are your volunteers? What are your families? What are they listening to? If you hear that song, it's cool to put it in that playlist because then they're going to hear it and they're going to start to bob their head. You want head bobs, not eye rolls when it comes to is in your playlist.
I mean, it's like when you go to a restaurant or any kind of venue, right? That
Exactly.
sets the tone for what kind of place this is. You're like, oh, this place plays like 90s nostalgia. And this place plays like really loud music. So we can like talk and throw food. Don't throw food, guys. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And then there are places where it's like really soft music. So this is for like candlelit quiet conversation. So it's a really good point you bring up that it's really going to set the tone for whatever event you're planning.
Exactly. So that's the playlist. That's the music. That's what people are going to hear when they come in. Second thing is the food. If the music is the soul of the party, then the food is its pros.
Did you make that up? That's so good.
I didn't. I think it was in a movie that I love, and I think it's been said by many people, so I cannot take credit for it.
Wow.
But,
I feel so uncultured that I don't know this.
Okay,
it's good.
Yeah. So the food is really important, and I think that's worth saying because it's very easy to think like we're here to connect. We're not here to eat. So let's just grab whatever we have in like the church freezer and bring it out, heat it up, whatever. Don't do that. I mean, you can be cost efficient and be intentional. So some ideas are like a hot dog bar with all kinds of interesting toppings that will be like kind of niche, and it's kind of cool. Or you can do the same thing with a nacho bar. You can have a sandwich bar with different breads and cheeses so people can make their own. And that also turns into like a conversation starter. So just be intentional about the way you're picking your food instead of just grabbing whatever you have and putting it out for everyone.
Right. And sometimes food can kind of be the thing you can use to get people there. Like if you're serving something that's a little out of the ordinary, you'd be like, hey, we're going to have a breakfast buffet at dinner or something. And people will be intrigued by that,
Or if you have someone in your church who's like known for making that thing. Like they're known for making ribs or those wings. Like we're going to have those wings at this party. That's really going to get people there and get people excited.
Yeah, absolutely. My husband is really good at the grill. So every time our church is doing Brazilian barbecue, I swear that's like the highest turnout.
Yes.
They're like, oh, he's making Brazilian barbecue. I'll be there.
So food is very important, a very important part of connecting. Some other great things, photo booth is always great. I know that's kind of like everyone does it, but the reason why it's so cool is because these events are like making memories together. And when you do the photo booth thing, I know that you just put those photos like right on the fridge. And when you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that event, like when I was with this person. And it's just that like built-in place of connection for people.
Yeah, I love this. It's so interesting because, remember the days back in the day when we would just take photos and print them all out?
Yeah.
Funny enough, those times, like the photos from those times, they're hard to find because they're just in a stack everywhere. But now that we're not really printing a lot of pictures, the few that you get from events like these, they're so special. So, this is quickly becoming a classic. Don't skip on this. Yes.
Yep. Some other ways to do this. Give people t-shirts, give people swag, anything that you can get. Again, this is like a tangible thing that they can have that sparks conversation. Hey, that's a nice hoodie you got there. I had the same one, that kind of thing. So it automatically builds in this tangible connection between people. The same thing with like temporary tattoos, although they're temporary. You can do that too. Another great one is
temporarily connect.
Temporarily, like, I have the same one. Another great one is stickers. I've seen that work really well because what do people do with stickers? Like they put them on their water bottle, which I have one right here. And then you see someone with the same sticker and it immediately like creates that connection starter again. So these are all things that emphasize like, hey, we're a part of something together. And that should really be the vibe of your event anyway.
Yeah, I love that we started with a vibe check because sometimes we are a little bit more focused on what we're trying to accomplish. And we're like, oh, let's organize the tasks and all the discussion points or whatever that we're planning, that we forget that, a person will judge an event sorry to say, I like the first 10 seconds. Like that first impression is important. So we can't sleep on this. We have to think about how we are crafting an experience that people will feel welcome and just this is an inviting place. Come and be yourself here and let's connect. So I think that's a really good message to send.
Yeah. The vibe is going to be the thing that people are like, this is a safe place to connect or it's not. And they decide that really, really fast. So it's very important to get the vibe right.
Absolutely.
Well, Linda, once we've set the vibe, what do you think the second thing is that we need to do in terms of a connection event?
Yeah, so now they're in the door. They've decided the vibe is good. They're happy to be there. Now we can't have them just stand around doing nothing. So let's get them talking. That is our second point, is get them talking. And we don't want to start off, with like the high stakes questions and get them into just like reveal everything about yourself. Like if you approach Jason, don't ask him about sports right away.
Nightmare.
But, it's also on the flip side, kind of like what you were mentioning earlier, is like small talk can be draining and a little bit anxiety inducing as well. So figure out how to manufacture. Well, manufacture feels like a very manipulative way to talk about this, but give them opportunities to have really fun, low stakes conversations,
Yeah.
So first of all, I would say start off with like name tags because then that lessens the need to have that moment where like, ooh, I know that person.
Yep.
I think that's so-and-so's mom. I forgot her name. So then that name tag really gives you the permission to be like, it's okay if you might have forgotten someone's name. It's right here for you. So it kind of gets over that first hurdle, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe prepare some icebreaker questions in advance, just some fun things. It doesn't even have to be like, if you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Like, it doesn't have to be like philosophical, but it could just be like relating to something that you saw on social media or in the news, like not like light stuff, like just some interesting factoids that you can throw around and have people respond to it in fun ways. I think that would be a really good way. But if that is frightening for you, another way to go would just be a simple game. We know those icebreaker games and we can adapt them from board games. So we can use like the headbands game or like use the phone for the heads up game, which we do this at amusement parks all the time while we're waiting in line, right? It's just an easy, low risk way to enter into conversation and get people talking and vibing and connecting already without having to get to anything super heavy. Yeah.
I think what you said about the small talk is so true. Like it can be draining. And I think that's linked to all the awkwardness that's kind of built into small talk. Like, I forgot this person's name or, I don't know what to say. So if what you're saying about these things, it's like intentionally putting something in that place. Like, hey, I'm going to give you this so you don't have to remember everyone's name. Like we have name tags, or I'm going to give you something to say to someone. And it just breaks down those awkward barriers so that small talk has a little more like structure to it.
Yeah. And it reminds me of, like those tabletop conversation cards. Like those are also really helpful. I remember I was at a lunch with a group of people and one of the people had brought a deck of thought-provoking questions to ask. And they had like range of how deep we're going to go. So there was like 1, 2, 3, like the levels.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. So like, we're just going to pick the ones, right? And so they're a little lighter and it's all about sharing your story, right? So it's a little bit like, what's something from your childhood that's like has been a really good memory for you, right? And so not only is it easy to talk about because like I know this stuff, but also it's a way to learn each other's stories in a very easy rent way, right? And so it really gets people to talk and then start connecting that way.
Yeah. I totally love that.
Okay, so people are talking. They're starting to connect a little bit. Jason, what would you suggest next?
Okay, so number 3, it's time to start playing some games. Now, you want to be strategic with your games. We're not talking about like Settlers of Catan, which, Linda, what's your take on Settlers of Catan?
Ooh.
Yeah, like what do you think about it? Okay, I was never a fan of it. Like when people sat down to play it, I was like, I'm out, guys. I'm going to go do something else.
Because it was too long or because it broke friendships?
It's like too, man, I just didn't enjoy it, So yeah, I wouldn't be what about you? Settlers of Catan, no good, good?
I haven't played it since I had kids because I don't have a block of time to commit to a game like that anymore.
4 to 7 hours.
It's very long, but I used to love it because, like I mentioned earlier, I love connecting through doing things.
Yeah.
And so it was a nice way, while the game was long, admittedly, it was a nice way to catch up with my friends as we were playing. Yeah. So I liked it, but there are so many good games out there.
Totally. Yeah. And what you said, we do want people to connect through doing something. Like we want people to be on a team, connect together, work together. And the best for me are when you're solving a fun or ridiculous problem together.
Yeah.
And so some ideas we have are and these are a little bit not the norm when it comes to team building games, but you can play this game. It's like a take on show and tell where you pick any item around the room. Like it could be anything from a closet or whatever. You divide people up in teams and you give them that item, just that random item. And they have to take time together to present how they're going to use that item in the upcoming year or quarter of ministry. Like, how are we going to implement this mop into our ministry for the next quarter? Which I think...
Yeah, that's really fun. And it could be a metaphor too, right?
Totally.
It doesn't even have to be we're going to use this mop, but we're this mop is going to be a symbol of how we're going to work together to address messes or something, It's really cute.
Yeah. Keep it fun, keep it loose, keep it kind of ridiculous and quirky, and people just watch people go. And I think that's a great way for people to start to connect together. Another kind of out of the norm idea is a mascot game where you again divide people up in teams and give them all kinds of wild materials like glitter or random colored paper. I know everyone hates glitter, but it does make for some fun times.
It is fun. It's fun.
It's just impossible to clean up afterwards, but or styrofoam or anything that you have around, and have them construct a ministry mascot. So a mascot for your ministry. And then of course they have to show it and explain why they made what they made. It's super fun if you can craft it on someone so they become the ministry mascot. That's also a fun thing you can do. So yeah, those are a couple out of the box kind of ways of doing these team building games. There are also others like speed friending, where you sit down, ask questions with a time limit. So that obviously builds in some time to connect and ask questions about each other. There's improv games you can play. I think most of us may have done this before. It's always fun, always good for making a memory. I would say beware with the improv games, because you're going to have some introverted folks in the room who may be sweating through their socks when they hear that they're going to do improv. So just something to consider. Know your people, I guess I would say, before you do any of these strategic games together.
Yeah, and just make the stakes really low so it doesn't feel like all eyes are on me and it feels really scary.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, I like this a lot because, I keep mentioning, I'm scared of just hanging out without structure. Yeah. Because I think when we do that, then we can't gauge how the day is going to go or how this event is going to go. So it constantly keeps you on edge, being what's after this? What's after this? And so having hey, we're going to start playing some games. We're going to spend 15 minutes doing this thing. We're going to spend half an hour doing this thing. It really helps to be okay, I just have to muster up my energy for 15 minutes to play this game. And then after I can relax, so it really helps people to be able to connect and feel a little bit at home with where they are.
Totally. I meant to say this earlier, but I think it connects to what you're saying is we cannot assume anything about these events.
Right.
You can't assume people are going to talk. You can't assume that they're going to want to connect together and work on something or whatever.
Right.
You have to really put stuff in place to make that happen. And so yeah, I think that's why this is kind of a great flow of thinking about things. So once we've set the vibe, We've got people chatting and talking. We've done some cool games. What do you think is next in terms of a connection event?
Okay, so now that we've done some strategic games, like games that are not just for fun and giggles, but actually are leading towards connection, it's
Mm-hmm.
time for some strategic conversations. So this is
Yes.
different from letting people talk and doing the icebreaker questions, but this is actually now we're thinking more towards what is important, what are the issues that impact our ministry, and we want people to be able to share and feel comfortable. So hopefully, having done steps 1 through 3, people are kind of broken out of their shell a little bit and they're kind of
Yeah.
ready to talk and they feel comfortable doing that.
Foundation has been set, and now
Right.
people feel safe to do
Right,
this.
exactly. And so I would say, if you try to do a large group conversation, depending on the size of your group, it might end up feeling like a town hall. And so that might also put people on edge. So I would probably suggest to do it in smaller groups and maybe
Oh,
mix
yeah.
up like your newly registered volunteers and ministry leaders and families and mix them up with people who've been here a little bit longer. So you kind of
Mhm.
get a good blend of perspectives. And once you have that group, then you can ask questions that get a little bit deeper into the real issues that are about your ministry. So you can ask things like, what's one thing that's helping you grow in your faith right now? What are you most excited about in this upcoming year of ministry, especially if you're doing this as a kickoff in the fall? What's something exciting or encouraging you've seen in our ministry lately or recently? Have you had any great ideas or tried anything new in your role recently? This is a good one for ministry leaders to talk about, or even parents to think about, hey, I tried this thing at my kid's school. It might be cool to do it here in our ministry. So that might be fun. We can ask things like, what's something you're struggling with right now and how can we help? And so our ministry is poised as a place that helps solve problems.
Yeah.
And then you can say things like, just be super transparent. Ask, like, what's one thing we can do that would make your job, your life easier? Like, how
Mhm.
can our ministry do better? And by now, we've established that this is a place where we do want to listen. And so hopefully people are being honest and sharing in kind ways, and it's going to make your ministry even better for it.
Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of putting newer people with people that have been around for a while,
Mm-hmm.
because I think you can't assume that everyone's in the same spot in their faith journey.
Right.
And so
Right.
this is where you people can see that in each other, like, where are you at in your faith journey? This is where I'm at. Through these questions that starts to kind of come out. So I love that. I think that's really cool. This would be like
Yeah.
my favorite part of the connection of it, for sure.
You're like, but I want to just pick one person to talk to.
Yeah, I would just talk to one person. But I would also say, give this time some space. I don't know what you think about this, Linda, but
uh-huh.
I think because it can feel more awkward because you're being more personal, it can feel like maybe like the slow part of the event because it's more
Sure.
personal. And so people tend to give it the least amount of time in their event. And I would say give it more space, because these are the things that are like, someone's going to say something that's going to stick or resonate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is important to constantly keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the room
Yeah.
so that we're not making people feel uncomfortable and that they're forced to share,
Mm-hmm.
but it is something that comes up organically in conversation. So as I was making these lists of questions that we were suggesting, you don't have to go through all of them. That
Mm-mm.
sounds exhausting. But which questions similar to these feel like it's the top priority for your ministry to focus on, and lean into that and have people share from that angle. And then as you're talking, more questions might come up, more answers will come up, and just let them lead that conversation. So it's a little bit more round table and it's originating from the people who are talking, and not like, here's a question, give me 5 answers,
Right,
because
right,
that
right.
will feel a little bit more academic and not what you're going for.
Yeah.
And of course, in spaces like this, you want to build in time to pray together. And,
Mhm.
we don't want to see prayer as just a bookend to your meeting. Like, we start with prayer, we end with prayer. But this would be a good place to, now that we've talked about these things and and seeing how engaged everyone is with wanting their ministry to succeed, whether they're a parent or volunteer, right? We can say, okay, now let's pray together. And then they can do that in that group that they had just formed, because now I know you. Now we've talked together and I feel comfortable sharing this prayer time together, as opposed to like find somebody and go pair up and pray. Like that feels very high risk to me. So,
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I think you said something earlier that was interesting, like about the one thing. And you were talking about bookends. Like we don't want prayer to be the bookend because it can feel kind of generic.
Right.
A good bookend that I've seen work is like at the beginning of these deeper conversations, you say like, hey, what's one word or a phrase that would describe like how you're arriving here today?
Yeah.
You know, like how are you feeling right now? And then at the end of it, you do what's one word or phrase that you're taking with you, like from this conversation.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah. That's great, because then you can start it with the let them talk phase. You can start with that one word. Real easy. Just tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And then after all of this connection, then they have a new word that they can take with them. I think that's a wonderful takeaway.
Totally.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, so we've done strategic conversations now. We're praying together. We're dreaming together. What comes after this?
Okay, so this is like what we dream of when we do our connection events is that we want them to connect when they're outside of these events. So connection that is outside of the church is our next thing. And there's some real practical ways, of course, to do this, like group text, Facebook group, Grow Hubs is one, just to say one that's right from Grow that we give to you guys. But again, I'd say you have to know your folks, like know what works best for them. I think we've said in other podcasts, like you can do some kind of a poll to figure out the method of communication that people enjoy best. And then I don't know how you feel, Linda, but then you have to kind of hold it loosely because that could change. Like they might figure out, hey, the Facebook group was not the best idea.
No.
You know, the text group is really the best one. So hold it loosely. It could change, but still hold on to the fact that you do need a central place for your communication.
Yeah, and there's something to be said also about setting those expectations for what that group is going to look like in advance, because then, it will change as people engage with that platform, whatever you're using. And so just let them know, hey, this is a space that we're creating for these kinds of things. And so let them know so that gives them a permission to engage in the ways that matches what you want them to do with it.
Totally. So some other practical ways you can do this, there's business cards. And I was thinking like you could even have fun with how corporate business cards feel, which like having them make their own like quirky business cards that are like super professional. I was using quote marks for those people that are listening. So that's kind of a way, those business cards are a way to like avoid the awkwardness of, again, having to like ask a person's name or their personal info like over and over again.
Yeah, and it's cute to swap.
Yeah, it's cool. A little caution here in terms of like connecting outside of church. You want to make sure that you're not giving away contact info that wasn't like didn't have consent to give away. So make sure beforehand
that's important
that you get that consent to share any info about others that you do. And a really brilliant idea is to make this a part of your event, like build into your event a time when, if they want to, you can exchange info. Like we said, you could do that with the business cards if you make that a part of your event. But yeah, just build it right in there so they don't have to do it on their own
like
outside
of the event.
Exactly. So if they want to share information, they can, and structure a time to do that. And as we said with the last point, like also you want to create a way to share prayer requests and that being done in an ongoing way. So like a group text could be the thing, or like, hey, if you have prayer requests, drop it on the group text and we'll make a point of praying for people. Maybe you even designate one person to be like, hey, you're going to be my point person for like asking everyone on Mondays. Like, hey, it's a Monday morning check-in. What prayer request can we can I lift up for this week or this month or whatever it might be. So that's just a way to have them praying for each other and also encouraging each other regularly.
Yeah, that's a really good idea to actually have an action step built in.
Right.
So it's not just, okay, everyone, be friends outside of this event, but really telling them, and here's an avenue and how you can connect. I went to a conference once where we had to write down some goals we wanted to achieve in like 6 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the workshop presenter said, okay, we'll turn to somebody in the room, swap phone numbers if you feel comfortable, and then set a reminder on your calendar that says, I'm going to text or call this person on this date to check in. And it was like 6 months in the future, but it was so cool to be like, oh, there's actually something practical happening here. And it's really allowing me to have this connection with someone, but in a way that I feel it's manageable, it's doable, and not like, how do I connect outside of this, right? Like it feels so big.
Totally, yeah. And again, you can't assume people are going to do that on their own. So the more you can structure that into the event, the better off you're going to be. So you've had your event. It was an absolute knockout. Everyone loved it. People were connecting all over the place. After the structured part of your event is over and you want to go on to something else, what is the next step, Linda?
Yes, this is something that I think would be just the icing on the cake if the cake was mostly icing. Like, this is so important.
Yeah, totally.
This is so important because the last thing we want to talk about is how you can do something fun or something meaningful together. Because yes, we want to mine our ministry people for answers and feedback and creating connection points.
Yeah.
But the best way to build connection is to actually connect. And I know that sounds super obvious, but you can't just put people in a room and be like, all right, everyone connect now.
Connection time.
Yes, connection time. Let's do it. But actually going back to the doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of just icebreakers and little mini games, when they're engaged in something bigger that we're all actively a part of, I think that could really not only create great memories, but it's going to be something they talk about. It's going to be something, be like, hey, remember when we went and did this thing together? Like it's going to be a fun way to bring it back to those connections that we made. So some ways we can do that could be like off-site activities. Maybe you do laser tag, you do bumper cars, mini golf, bowling. Like I recently just went to a family fun center with my kids and a friend and their kids, and we just had the best time. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this, to be honest, but it was just so fun. Like we had go-karts and like little bumper boats. We did mini golf, and it was a great thing to look back on. And so what we would say is you can maybe rent one of those party rooms at a venue like this, and you can kind of front load all of the things that we talked about in advance and be like, hey, we're going to start off with these things. We'll chat for like 30 to 45 minutes, whatever it is. And then we're going to do this whole activity together. And so not only does it make it an event that they're looking forward to, but now you've like tacked it onto something meaningful that you talked about. And then as you're playing together throughout the day, like you can think back on these conversations that you had. Like, hey, remember earlier when you said this thing? And again, build more opportunities for people to connect. So I think that's super fun.
Yeah, for sure. The fun stuff is always like memory making, like remember when we did that and it was awesome, or remember when you tripped in laser tag and like that
remember
kind of stuff.
When I won you in the arcades.
yeah, those are like the memories that you can't manufacture,
Absolutely.
And when you set aside time to do something like this, you're just creating space for that to happen,
Right.
So I think that's great.
Yeah. And then on the other side of things, not just fun, but let's say you want to do something more meaningful. Like that's the goal that you want to lean into with your ministry. That's great. Like, think of a place where you can volunteer. Maybe you're partnering with organizations or even other churches to find volunteer opportunities that your church could be involved in together. And even if you're not going off-site somewhere, maybe you're preparing something. Maybe you're coming together as a church to build kits or cleaning. Like there are some things that you can do to now we're going to live out this part of our ministry value.
Yeah.
Some other things you can do is host a worship concert or maybe like a seminar or conference with topics that interest your community. You could even have your lead pastor come and do a talk at your event if you'd like, because for your volunteers in your ministry, like they don't get as much big church time, right? Because they're usually just with the kids. And so this is a good time for them to get specialized time with the leadership, and the leadership gets to see them and pray for each other. So I think this might be a really valuable add-on to this event as well.
Totally. Yeah. For me, those memories, those remember when moments, like when they're structured around a place of service or mission, that makes for the best stories. Like when I was doing youth ministry, we partnered with a group that did an under the bridge worship service for people experiencing houselessness, and we were partnering with them, and we were in charge of the music for it. So I gathered with some of my students from my youth ministry, and we were like the band for this under the bridge worship service. And this one particular time, like we had such a powerful time of worship that like people were coming from like, it's downtown Kansas City, and people were like walking up from all over the place to be a part of our worship service. And that was a memory that like those students would be like, hey, you remember when we did that? And like when those people came out from everywhere and were like coming down to worship with us under the bridge. And that was such a cool like core memory to a bunch of kids, and they remembered that for a long time. So those moments around mission to me can be like very impactful and in terms of building connection between each other.
Right. And that's something that you can't just teach with words. That is a lived experience that is now shared, and you get to talk about and invite them to participate even more in the future. So yeah, that's super valuable.
Totally.
So, okay, we talked about for an event that helps families and volunteers, so your ministry people connect. We can start by setting the vibe. Then we get them talking. We play strategic games, have strategic conversation. Then we help them connect outside of church to keep that connection going and do something fun or meaningful together. This was a really fun chat, Jason. I really liked talking about all of this with you, and I hope listeners, you found that to be valuable as well, because it's never too late or too early to think about connecting more, and there's always ways and a need to connect more with our families and our volunteers.
Totally. And thank you, Elton, for the question. I'm glad that you're in the headspace of wanting to make connection a part of your yearly, quarterly plan, because it is very important to do and spread throughout your year. So we, of course, here at Grow have all kinds of resources that you can use to help you do this, to do the things that we just talked about. One of the ones that I thought about was the new planning view. And the reason why that comes to mind is like it literally comes pre-populated with all sorts of connection events and stuff. And so if you're not the greatest at like knowing when I'm going to put this here, where am I going to put this, like it kind of does it for you, and then you can shift it around to like fit what you want to do. And so you have those connection events like built into your yearly calendar. So that's a great place to start, I think. We also have volunteer kickoff events for all the things we talked about, like the team building games, the offsite activities, conversation starters, icebreakers, games, vibe settings, all that stuff. We kind of do it for you, so you don't have to think about it on your own. We talked about the name tags, which I thought was a brilliant idea. And if you're looking for kind of where you can find that, or even a place to start with that, we have our family open house event that you can use, and you'll find the name tag option there. And
and we talk about a fun way that we can use those name tags to make it a little bit more interactive.
Totally.
So check out that resource. And let me add a few more. We have volunteer-specific resources. So if you're looking for ways to connect more with your leadership team, we have volunteer celebrations, which are just a lot of silly celebrations you can do monthly for your volunteers. And they're not just, get together and play games. Like they are like celebrate with National Donut Day or Stationery Day or Walk Backwards Day. Like there's so many interesting things for you to check out and make your volunteers feel more special and connected. We have volunteer tools. That's where you can find a template for the business cards if you're looking. We have volunteer discussion groups, and those come preloaded with the strategic conversation questions that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And if you're like, this is a lot of things for me to track down on my own, if you go to the Grow website at growcurriculum.org, check out our volunteer bundle, and all of these things will be bundled together and ready for you to check out and use right away.
Basically, what we're saying is we got you.
We got you. That's all we want to do.
Exactly. We got you covered for all the ways to get started with the ideas that we gave you. And so, Linda, this has been a cool conversation. I hope it helps people with their next connection event. All right. Well, we have come to that time, Linda, that our listeners have they always are at the edge of their seat waiting for.
Yes.
Linda.
From the many letters we've received.
Exactly. So many comments have come in saying, can't wait to hear what Linda and Jason are into. Please.
I live for this segment.
We've had turkey sandwiches. We've had different games and books. The Labubu
K-pop
dolls.
demon hunters. We got them all.
You never know where we're going to go with this segment. I think that's why it is such a crowd pleaser. And so, Linda, without further ado.
You're just speaking that into existence.
I am.
Please love us.
Exactly. Please love this segment. So what are you into, Linda?
You know, I am currently into jigsaw puzzles. I've always been into puzzles, but again, with the kids, I had to take a break because you can't leave 1,000-piece puzzles just lying around, because not only will the pieces go missing, it'll probably go missing in someone's mouth. So I had to take a little bit of a break. But then recently, my mother-in-law wanted a puzzle, so I gave her a set, and then she decided she didn't want to do them anymore. So we brought it back. And so I'm currently working on puzzles. But I'm really specific about the puzzles that I buy because I don't have a lot of art hanging in my house. Like I don't have a lot of statement pieces. So I use these puzzles as my statement pieces. So I'll buy puzzles of art. So it's like, it's art, but it's also a puzzle. So
and you made it. You helped make it.
So it's like Van Gogh's Starry Night, but it's a puzzle.
I love this. You know what I love? And this is not throwing shade at all because I too love puzzles. I just love how much we hyped this segment and then immediately went to puzzles.
And puzzles. I know you've never heard of them. You should try it out.
Most exciting thing. Puzzles is what we got for you today.
If you haven't discerned this yet, Jason and Linda are major nerds, okay?
Yes.
We like nerdy things.
Yeah.
And
all right,
Jason, you
mine is
go
not
ahead.
going to deviate too far from that. So I am currently into Wheel of Fortune. Is what I'm into. I know that this places me in an age category, probably, but
I don't know. What's old is new again, you know?
Yeah, maybe people are into it. I'm not sure, but I love not only the TV show, but we actually have the old school Wheel of Fortune board game.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of a wild concept. It's like so many different puzzles, and you have to put it in the thing, and like someone's got to play like Vanna White and stuff like that. But I've played it with my boys, and they love it, and it's kind of a cool way for them to like do spelling and like so
and learn idioms and random phrases. Absolutely,
random phrases, totally. So that's what we're into, man.
Yeah,
Wheel of Fortune.
Love it. Yes, come here for the hottest trends, y'all. That's what we're here
We
for.
got you. We got you. Look no other place. Well, it has been so cool talking with you today,
fun.
Linda. So much
thank
fun.
you, Jason.
Thank you again to Elton for the question. And as always, we want to thank our listeners for listening. And if you have a ministry question that you want us to talk about next on the KMA podcast, send us a voice message at kma.show.
Yes. Talk to you soon, everybody. Bye.
See you next time.